We are Geekcentric, and you can be too. Love ya. Laters. Bye. Get home safe, guys. Peace.
Welcome to the Geekcentric podcast, and welcome to our special Behind the Geeks episode for Percy Jackson and the Olympians Season 2. My name is Justin, and if you're joining us for the first time, well, we are Geekcentric, a podcast covering the world of movies, TV shows, gaming, and all things Geekcentric. And today, we are joined by Dior Goodjohn and Daniel Diemer from Percy Jackson and the Olympians Season 2. Dior plays Clarisse, the fierce daughter of Ares, the god of war. And Daniel is a Vancouver-born actor and newcomer to Percy Jackson, and he plays Tyson, Percy's Cyclops half-brother. In this conversation, we talk about stepping into the world of Percy Jackson, their connections to the books, the heroes that inspired them growing up, and what it means to carry these characters forward. A huge thanks, as always, to our friends at Disney Studios Canada for inviting us to participate in this in-person junket here in Toronto. We are always grateful for all the opportunities we get to talk to whomever, and to do it in person is always a delight. So huge thanks to Disney Studios Canada for setting it up, which means also, because it was in person, there is a video version of this interview available now on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/geekcentric. So you can go check that out and get a little more nuances and facial reactions, because there's some funny moments that come up here. I even drop a really horrible dad joke. Now that I'm a father and I'm over 40, I feel like I have my card to now just drop dad jokes whenever I can. Before we get to the interview, a couple things to plug. 2026 is in full swing. We have posted our Geek Back episode where Nate, Darcy, Meg, and myself sit down and discuss the best movies from 2025, as well as the best TV shows, the best animated projects, the best games, as well as some of the disappointments from 2025. That's available now on podcast feeds for you to enjoy. We will have coverage for Marvel Television's Wonder Man coming up tomorrow, so be sure to subscribe to us wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, if you're following us on our Instagram at We Are Geekcentric, and if you're not, please follow us. You'll probably see some food content coming up from Disney. That's right, Nate, Darcy, and Kevin are out vacationing in Orlando. And they're doing some fun content. They're making food content for our secondary channel, our side quest, as I like to call it, for Eatcentric. And you can find that on Instagram at We Are Geekcentric and on TikTok at We Are Eatcentric. Yeah, they're having a great time. They're eating a lot of food. It's worth checking out. We have a whole bunch of archive stories. There's some fun reels. We got more on the way. So be sure to follow us on our socials. Those will be available in the show notes below. Okay, that's it. Let's get to this interview. Please welcome Dior Goodjohn and Daniel Diemer from Percy Jackson and the Olympians, Season 2. Hello, how are you guys?
Doing great. How are you doing?
Doing good. I'm apparently getting some sort of a phone call in my pocket, which I'm going to stop right now. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us on the Geekcentric podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Right off the bat, you guys are both outstanding in this show.
Thank you very much.
For Season 1, we were fortunate enough to talk to Walker, Leah, and Orion when they were in Toronto. My co-host Nate and myself, we shared that we actually didn't grow up with the books. We didn't read the books. So the show was the actual introduction for us.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask both of you, were you fans of this original source material for Percy Jackson? And once you knew you were stepping into this world, did that change how your approach or influence your approach of how you shaped your characters? We'll start with you, Clarisse.
That's a great question. So for me, I feel like my generation, we were the generation that always had a phone. So reading, sadly, was not really the thing. Yeah, not until we got older. Now I'm an avid reader myself.
Right.
But my cousins who were older than me, they were growing up as the books were coming out. And I was younger, but me being the only girl in the family of all the little children, I was like, I want to be just like my older cousins. I'd go in their rooms and steal their books and walk around with them so I could pretend that I was looking like them. But I wasn't familiar with the material of it itself. I knew of Percy Jackson because my gen grew up with the movies.
Right.
But I remember getting the audition and immediately reading the series and understanding exactly why it's been such a phenomenon for decades, literally.
Yes, yeah. How about for you, Daniel?
I was like the perfect age for it. Like it was coming out right around the time that I was like at the age it was meant for. So I was a huge fan. It was one of my favorite series of all time. So yeah, and it was like I watched the movies with my family. I got my dad to read the books. I got my little brother to read the books when I was that age. So yeah, it's been so special. I mean, in terms of like influencing the character, only in the sense that like I already knew the character so well that it was just trying to do it justice, but not in a way that I felt like more pressure. So I was trying to do something special with it. It was just like, no, just like honor what's on the page, respect, and just try to find that like the heart and the love that he kind of has. And if we can find that, hopefully we can find something that's good with the relationship on set.
Yeah, you nailed that. I'm going to come back to that.
Okay, sweet.
And I apologize in advance if I call you Clarisse and Tyson,
No,
just
please.
because you guys are so damn good in the show.
Thank you.
But Dior, I want to ask you. Clarisse gets some seriously badass moments in this season. I was like amazed, and I'm just glad we get to spend more time with her and learn more about her. My favorite part though was in episode 4 when you were using that gun on the front of Cloud. I wanted to know. I know it was so intense, and it was perfect. It felt like a very pivotal moment for the character. I wanted to know in your own words, what did you think? What was the turning point for you?
In the way that season 1 we had the scream, season 2 we had the gun. That's how I feel about it. I think everything leading up to that moment was so intensely important, like for her arc and where she goes, and it's a tipping point, like for her. So it's less about being on the gun, and it's about everything that happens in like the 15 seconds before.
Right.
And I don't know. I think it just punctuates her heart and punctuates just how she is as a person. And it kind of is not the first time in the season, but really like one of the times in the season where you get to see that she's not all bad. Like she cares deeply, and she loves, and for her people, for the people that she chooses is going to be her family. Yeah. She'll go to no end.
Different from her father's perspective.
Completely different. And it's like her entire value structure, it's shifted and dismantled within like the first freaking 30 seconds of being on the Ironclad.
I was saying this to my co-host as well. It's like Clarisse exhibits more humanity in some instances.
Absolutely.
And that's when you get to see the real side of her.
Yes.
Versus the other side, which feels like hard exterior.
Exactly.
Right? For the purpose, because she is the daughter of God.
Yeah, she's the daughter of God of War. It makes sense, but it's like what I appreciate that the writers did this season was the vulnerability that Clarisse shows, the cracks in the armor in 4, I Love the Labyrinth, is drawn into season 2.
Yes.
And they've done it so beautifully so that like you as the fan can decide whether or not you want to be rooting for her. And I think that's a beautiful thing how they did it. Shay did an amazing job on this episode. The platform that Shay and the entire writers' room that they were able to give Leah and I for episode 4 was just like thank you. Phenomenal.
That's amazing. That's awesome. Now, Daniel, you were mentioning it before. Tyson is incredible. He just brings so much warmth, such sincerity, and it feels incredibly genuine. And I was blown away to learn that Tyson's eye is actually your eye. Right? So what was it like seeing like that full Cyclops design? And did that change your approach to how you performed? Like, were you more aware or hyper aware of like your eye gestures in a certain way? And which eye did they use?
No, it's an amalgamation of both. Yeah. So they didn't choose one. Basically what they did is anyways, that's going to take me like 10 minutes to explain. So I'll go back to the first part of the question. Luckily for me, I was able to see a tiny little glimpse of an idea of what they wanted early on when I screen tested for the role way before I got it. And so pretty quickly it became clear to me that I was like, I need to do a certain amount of exaggeration of expression. But at the same time, when you're working with other actors, if you exaggerate too much, it's hard for them to be able to kind of enter in and feel like they're grounded with you. Yeah. So it was trying to find that balance, because it's like the story's only told well if both parties are telling the same story. So it's trying to keep that subtlety, but also still exaggerating a certain amount. And so I also found that there's a little bit that gets lost to a degree. And so it's trying to like bring as much physicality in as possible, playing with the mouth a little bit to try to make sure that like it's the facial expressions are supplemented. So when he's kind of like scared or nervous or kind of trying to hide himself, or when he's like really excited, the beaming smile. Yes. Yeah. So trying to just find different ways of kind of pushing as much expression as possible. Normally, I like to be a little bit more nuanced, and so to be able to have this kind of play was really, really fun.
That's amazing.
To kind of work with, yeah.
Sounds like an eye-opening experience. Let me tell you.
Amazing.
There's the
fun.
dad joke for you.
Yes.
Okay, so one thing this series really emphasizes is how these characters admire heroes in a lot of ways and want to live up to those stories. Now, growing up for both of you, was there a hero, fictional or real, that you personally aspired to?
You go ahead.
Well, like I was like big into athletics. Like that was my original dream, was to be a pro athlete. And so like there was this guy named Ruud van Nistelrooy who was a Dutch striker, and he played for Manchester United. And so he was like a big, inspiring kind of like figure for me in my like really, really early years. And then I switched into tennis, and there was this tennis player named Milos Raonic, who was the first big kind of Canadian player that we've had other than Daniel Nestor, I guess, especially on the singles stage. And him, like he was like the kindest, gentlest kind of soul, and so smart. And so I've looked up to him for a very long time. His career, he just announced his retirement the other day. Yeah. And so he was one of many, but it was like, for me, it was mostly athletes, but it was like being able to look up to people that conducted themselves as well on court as they did off court was really, really special.
Etiquette, ethics, and that sort of power of belief. Yeah. How about for you, Diemer?
For me, there's so many, but from my earliest memories that I have, like really, really, really young, it was Michael Jackson and Beyonce.
Yeah.
Those two were, like, since I can remember having thoughts, like, it was them. Like, I wanted to be like them and work as hard as them and give back as much as them. Like, that was my thing. And as I've gotten older, you know, my mom, she's worked so hard, like, for me, like, in my life, like, for me to be where I am today. And, like, she's done it. Like, my dad, I have the most amazing father in the world, but, like, my mom has, like, hustled for me, like, nobody else. So, definitely her. And, you know, Angelina Jolie. She's done so much. Like, I appreciate how she's taken her platform and, like, really done something for the world with it. Yeah. So, yeah, these people, I would say, they're like my North Stars. I look up to them a lot.
That's amazing. I think, again, it's just the values, really what they stand for. Totally. That makes them heroes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Someone to aspire to.
Yeah.
Now, as I wrap here, you know, as we step away from this season, right, we're getting ready for season 3. I wanted to know, what's one thing you're taking from Clarisse and Tyson, something that has stayed with you personally, beyond the show, about your characters?
Like, it's good to have a community. It's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to trust people like that, as also to, like, trusting yourself and your intuition, like, is going to be better for you than anything else that you can ever do. Even if you mess up, at least you listened to yourself. Yeah. You know?
Absolutely. I think that totally resonates from Clarisse's journey in this season, to kind of trust her own intuition and her gut.
Yeah.
How about for you, Daniel?
I think for me, it was like that gentleness and love can be a superpower. I think that there was like, I've been through my own journey, and I think I became really closed off for a really long time to protect myself. And I didn't change as a human being. My morality, my center, everything stayed the same. But the way that I was received by the world started to change. And so to be able to kind of like grow and find acceptance, like this cast genuinely was a huge part of that too. Yeah. Of just being able to be silly and goofy and play around and be soft and to still be accepted and loved was really like momentous kind of moment for me to be able to kind of like find my like kid again. And I think Tyson helped significantly with that, of being able to kind of step into the shoes of being innocent and naive, and finding joy in that, and then being able to see kind of the impact that has on people too. And so it's something I'm trying to stay open in my own life as much as possible now, which has been really, really cool.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Hopefully you guys really understand your characters and what resonates, you know, with the audience and what resonates with you. And I love that. So I really appreciate you taking the time to answer some of my more craft-oriented questions, because I loved your performances.
This is our favorite part.
Yeah, you guys have committed so much to the performances, and it shows in every way. You guys are the MVPs of this season. So Thank you so much. Really enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing season 3.
Same here.
Right.
Same here. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Very nice to meet you.